It's systematic. It's hydromatic. It's ultramatic. It's green.
Copyright.
Seriously? Okay, well, time to learn about my tires.
Okay, so maybe I'm not cut out to be a performer in a musical anytime soon, but dressing up in my vintage mechanic coveralls got me thinking about cars and garages. I've always loved cars, especially my little pink bug, but I guess I am not the greatest at maintaining them. Maybe it's time I learned.
All right, George, I noticed there's a spelling mistake on your cap. It's not tuned up.
No, it's tuned dub.
Tuned dub.
Dub.
Dub. Okay. Why tuned dub? What does that mean?
Dub is a slang for Volkswagen, like VW dub. So
Okay.
tuned dub is generically
And I've only
speaking as
driven
an
a-
automotive shop for the Volkswagen Audi lover.
That is awesome. And now I know what to call it. So
See?
yeah, after a decade of owning dubs,
Yeah.
now I know the truth.
You got the slang
So
now.
3 things that we need to be aware of and watch on our vehicles, just so we're cognitive
Okay.
of our safety.
No problem.
So what's up first?
So tires, we'll start with tires.
Okay.
So you always want to make sure you have enough tread to last you through the season,
Okay.
and you need to make sure you have the right tire for the right season.
And how do you measure tread? Where's
Tread is measured via tread bar. There's a bar that runs through the middle of the tires. There's multiples throughout the tire. And basically when you get close to that bar is an indication of it's time for new tires.
tire pressure is, we can see that in our mileage, correct? Like, how does that work?
Yes. If the tire pressures are to spec, you will have a perfect running fuel mileage car. You get
Optimum
less
fuel.
drag. It's better for the tire. Low tires will cause a blowout if they're too low. So it's very important to make sure your tire pressures,
Okay.
depth, right tire is on
I
the
can
car.
do that. And I think maybe there's even a light in my car that tells me.
There is a light these days. Next thing, brakes.
Brakes.
Some brakes will last up to 100,000 kilometers.
Okay.
Original brakes, usually the rear you do twice to one set of the front. So rear
Okay.
brakes will last you approximately 40 to 60,000 K,
Okay.
depending on the car. Most Volkswagens will go up to 100,000 K on front brakes.
And if you ride your brakes like I do,
Um,
I'm that lady, George. Work with me.
yeah, you
Maybe
might
check it a
take
little-
some time off
Okay.
for sure. Okay, last but not least, fluids, belts, hoses, under the hood kind of inspections.
So how long does a belt typically last?
Approximately 100,000 kilometers on these serpentine belts.
Okay.
So a
And
long time.
a long time.
For a small belt.
Longer
that-
than my tires.
Yeah, way longer than your tires.
Best way to gauge oil. I've never been
Okay.
able to figure out the whole oil thing.
Okay, oil on 99% of cars has to be checked while it's off. And it's a very simple service. Some cars still do have a dipstick, and some cars do not have a dipstick. So it's either checked via stick, or on the newer cars, it's checked through the cluster. So dipsticks are deceiving. Most people get confused on a dipstick. So you have a crosshatch.
Most dipsticks can confuse.
See, it works. So you have a crosshatch on most dipsticks, so you'll have a low setting, high setting. So if you do check your own oil and you find it between the hash mark, you could leave it or you could top it up to the full line. It's okay to run a vehicle within
In there?
the hatch. Basically, that's what it is under the hood, and as long as those things are checked, you shouldn't have too many problems with your car.
Shouldn't
So,
they?
yeah,
Awesome.
It's awesome.
George, you're great.
Thank you. It's awesome.
It's awesome.
Good experience.
It's
See?
awesome.
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 Feeling more confident in my car maintenance abilities, I turned my attention to my garage. Maybe it was time to take my garage to the next level. I stopped in at Garage Living to find out all about the trends and gathered some inspiration from Anna Cummings and Canyon Plumbing. All right, Garage Living is all about making that space that we always forget about, the best space in the home, right?
Absolutely.
So Charmaine, we're here at Actual Garage Living. I love the name. It says it all in one thing. So why are people investing, or because it is an investment in their garage space?
because the biggest reason people come in is the garage was known as a dirty, dusty kind of a dumping ground. So 89% of people are wanting to do some form of upgrading in their garage. Whether it be from the floor, organizational, they see the value in the home for themselves and for resale.
So are we looking at an entry of maybe start with the floor or develop a plan? What were the steps that you would recommend?
So where you would start generally is from the floor being, you know, one of the largest spaces. And it's easier to keep clean, so it looks fantastic.
What is this?
It's polyaspartic floor text coating.
It's pretty. It looks almost like granite or something. It's very pretty.
It does, and you know, it comes in a wider range of colors and textures. A lot of times people have heard of epoxies, right?
Yes.
So having the floor looks nice and it stays clean, but if you have a lot of clutter on the floor, I would recommend doing some overhead storage, some slat to hang accessories, tire racks. Exactly. And then we have different shelving to suit different needs. You know, baskets, shelves, golf stands, fishing rod stands, ski racks.
These are just slats? These are just, they
clip
almost,
in.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. And so you can really change and modify and grow.
Absolutely.
Well, they say that in home ownership, you should invest for the improvement and maintenance of your home 1 to 3% of your home value every year in order to keep your home current, so that when you do go to sell. So when you're talking just a couple $1,000s, the reality is the average home at $470, that's less than 0.5% of your home value. So if you're going to spend 1% of your home value, that's $4,700 you can invest and know that you're on market trend.
Exactly.
Thank you, Charmaine.
You're welcome.
Welcome to the Vaults in Calgary, where I will be doting on all things garages and man caves. If you're a car lover, gearhead, or just want a bachelor pad to hang out, watch the game, smoke cigars, wrench, well then look no further than the Vaults for inspiration. Man caving has evolved into an art form. Just about every man wants a place where he can unwind, relax, and get away from the outside world. There are no set of design rules when it comes to garage styles. The fit and finish of every mandem will be completely dependent on each owner's personal style. You can make it as rustic or refined as you like. Do you want a walk-in humidor for those Cuban cigars? What about a backdrop of colorful street-style graffiti to showcase those shiny toys? So how does one achieve the perfect man cave? Here are my little tidbits. First, you start with the flooring. You want it to be durable, but not too precious. And then move to the walls. You want to add color and texture and some personality. Think about things that you love, memorabilia, passions, interests. Those can all go on the wall. Seating is so important. You'll want to make it comfortable and ample enough for all your friends. A large table can be used as a desk, a work surface, a bar, or a gaming table. This man cave here is completely outfitted with a kitchen with all the amenities. Rounding out this design, you may want to add a bathroom and laundry facilities. Next, you'll want to address your audiovisual needs. Will you be listening to music or watching the big game? You'll want a sound system for that. Storage and shelving is so important in a garage. You're going to want a spot for those tools and trophies and all of your prized possessions. If you have questions about designing your perfect man cave, reach out to me at anainteriors.com. Thanks to the Vaults, and see you next time.
Hi, my name is Jason Chupik, and welcome back to the Canyon Comfort Corner. Today we're here to talk to you about adding some real plumbing and heating horsepower to your garage, or in essence, man cave. So here are some upgrades that we love to talk about when we're doing up a garage. A lot of times it's important to catch it up in a new build right up front so that we can incorporate some of these things. But there are some things I will talk about that we could add. But one of the things is the garage drain. Another thing that I'd like to note is a good tip is to actually get your garage coated. with an epoxy or paint. That keeps a lot of the concrete dust down and makes it easier to clean over time. Some tricks about pressure washers, if you're in the market for one. The PSI is really important. The other thing to look at is how much volume is going through the unit itself. So the more water you can put through, the better job and the easier job you'll have cleaning your space. A great thing about a garage sink is that after a long day of working hard in the garage, you got dirt on your hands, grease, that kind of stuff. You can easily wash up and not track that through the house. And if you really wanted a true man cave, one thing that I think is so cool is to actually add your own urinal. So my favorite type of heating is called in-floor heating. This is the best way to heat your garage. It's an even heat and you're heating objects rather than air. Rather than a unit heater, which still works really well, when you heat the objects rather than air, your heat doesn't escape out your door when you open it. So it's a lot more comfortable and a lot more energy efficient. So a big thanks to The Stash for letting us come into the garage today, and looking forward to seeing you next week on the Canyon Home Comfort Corner.
Filled with ideas, it was time to check in with my experts for tips on buying, building, and maintenance.
Hi, I'm Jeff Kahane from Kahane Law Office, and I'm here to talk to you today about encroachments. What the heck are these things? Well, we live in Alberta, and every day is not as beautiful as it is today. Sometimes it's downright cold. And you want to put a garage in your property so that you have somewhere warm and toasty to park your car. What happens sometimes is people build the garage in the wrong place. They either put it onto a neighboring property, onto the city's property. Sometimes it's not the garage itself, it could be the eaves or overhangs, any part of the garage. You're not allowed to have it places it's not supposed to be. Even a utility right-of-way or an overland water drainage right-of-way, you can't put a garage on top of those things. What happens if you do? Well, you're gonna have to do one of a couple of things. The worst is you're gonna have to move the garage. Or if you're lucky, you can do an encroachment agreement with the city or with a neighbor. Sometimes that'll allow for that encroachment to remain where it is. If you've hired a contractor, ask them to check it twice, because even when you hire a professional, sometimes they put the garage in the wrong place. And it is always easier to measure twice, but only build it once. That's all for today. Thanks, and we'll see you again next week.
Hey Jeremy, what are my options if I'm looking to build or upgrade a garage?
Kim, that's a great question. When it comes to garages, we definitely have a few options. Let's start with the purchase. So we have a program, a little known program called Purchase with Improvements. And that allows us then, when we're looking for that perfect home, which again doesn't really exist, but let's suggest we find that home, all it needs is a garage. It's got great bones, we love the interior, etc. We can finance that garage. So the Purchase with Improvement program is available. Now, one caveat being, of course, is that typically it's 10% or $40,000 for the improved value. However, we have been successful in obtaining exceptions over and above that. Or alternatively, let's suggest you want to do something a little more significant, and you have a garage that's already existing and you're looking to raise the roof. So you want to raise that roof because you want to put a nanny suite above that garage. In that case, the expense is going to be a little more than just a simple improvement or renovation. In that case, you might want to consider a draw mortgage. So a draw mortgage will typically release money in stages. So it might be draw 1, draw 2, 3 draws, and again, it's based on the percentage of completion. Those loans are easily obtainable as well, and they fit that purpose really nicely. For more information, or if you have any additional questions, don't hesitate. Look us up online at CanadaMortgageDirect.com or give us a call.
Hi, I'm Ron McDougall from Landron Inspections. I'm a proud member of APHIS, and today we are talking about driveways. What we typically inspect on driveways is the condition, the slope, what kind of grading is on it. For example, on this driveway, there is some spalling happened, and this is a defect on the surface. Because of the age of this driveway, that's what the cause of this one is. Sometimes you come across spalling if the driveway was poorly poured, like if they did it on too hot of a day, added too much water on it, it affected the finishes. made it so it was soft. But one thing that you can do to protect driveways, if they're in good condition, is put a sealer on it, and that should be done about every 2 years. If it is a specialty concrete, like exposed aggregate, stamped, or acid etched, you can use a high gloss sealer, and that should be done about every 2 years as regular maintenance. With this driveway here, it has settled. Now one of the fixes for it is drilling holes in the concrete, and they will mud jack underneath it, which are forcing a grout mixture and lifting it back up to where it should be. The next thing we look at would be the stairs. Now this staircase right here, the walkway has settled, and this first step right here, they tried to repair it by pouring a step in front. Now the risers on stairs, you want them to be 7.5 inches on average, usually within a 1/4 inch apart, or height difference. Otherwise, it can be a trip hazard. Like this one's 2.5 inches, this one's probably about closer to 8.5 to 9 inches. It's not such an issue for younger people, but when you get elderly people trying to walk up and down these stairs, it can be a trip hazard, which is a safety hazard. And another thing, anything over 3 risers should have a hand railing and guardrail on it. Thank you for joining me. This is Ron McDougall, Land Run Inspections. Feel free to look me up online, Facebook. Please give me a call if you have any questions.
One of the things I've noticed on my journey is how a space can bring people together, especially around a shared interest like cars.
All right, no garage journey is complete without finding out where all the cool kids hang, right? Tell me, how did the stash come to be?
Well, we have cars of our own, so we needed space. So we figured, well, we'll try and build something so that everybody can have it. And then it came about really quick. We seen it down in the States, and threw our ideas together, working really well to get everybody together, and safe and secure spot is what the guys want. They just love it out here. It's private, it's quiet, the security's awesome, and we're just trying to keep it low key. It's become quite a social club because of the lounge up here, and all the cool guys. We're all like-minded. We're all kind of on the same mission. Come out here and have some fun. And out here we have some real treasures. There's some really cool cars. There's cool bikes. There's just cool guys.
So when we're talking about garages, we obviously think of cars. It's been this real journey since like the 40s, so it really creates a culture around it. What are some of the things that you guys do here at the Stash to create that culture?
We've done everything from Scotch tastings to wine tastings, show and shines, pig roast, chili cook-offs. So yeah, we try to have a function about every month. And then also on the 11th of August, the Okotoks Hospice out here is doing a car rally and a fundraiser. So they're using this as one of the stops. So all these cars are going to come through. They're hoping for about 60 cars, and this will be the last stop on their way through. They're going to start at the hospice over here, and it's a really cool fundraiser, and it's for an absolute great cause. And they're going to do a rally checkpoint thing, so they're going to go to different scenarios, different places. They're probably going to run about 2.5 hours, and it's all timed, no speeding, all this kind of stuff. And then after that, there's a huge dinner out at Spruce Meadows.
I left the Stash feeling like part of the family and was inspired by the unique way everyone was using the space. This reminded me of my visit to Bee Kingdom, where they've been creating glass art right in their backyard garage.
All right, the Queen has arrived at the Bee Kingdom, and we're here with Phil and Ryan to find out what is Bee Kingdom.
Bee Kingdom is a glass blowing studio here in Calgary, and it's in our garage. And we make work here that we do commission work and send work all over the world.
So why Bee Kingdom?
Yeah, so we named ourselves that because we wanted to liken our studio practice to like a relatable image and a concept. When you see molten hot glass that runs like 1200 degrees Celsius, it looks exactly like liquid honey. And because we're collaborative, we kind of considered ourselves like a hive. We kind of nicknamed the studio the Hive. So we all work together, and then when we do demonstrations in the glass shop, the way we move in a confined space with like dangerous elements, people have often called it kind of like a dance. We just kind of like weave and move. We know where we are. It's like a very seamless movement to create, our finished products. And then Kingdom, because it was more of a fantastical idea of our own studio, and it lends really well to like marketing and promotion.
And it's a nice contrast to think of this little house and little garage as our kingdom, right?
I have 2 left feet and fairly clumsy. So can anybody blow glass, or how do you teach them?
Yeah, well, we do offer classes, and both Ryan and I really like doing the classes. And the nice thing is it sort of reminds me of when I first took a class, glass blowing. And it's crazy because you sort of just get thrown right into the deep end because there's no other way to do it, right? Like when someone hands you a blowpipe to blow glass and it's like, okay, here's some glass that's at 1200 degrees. Like there's no other way around it. Like we go through safety and then it's like, okay, here you go. And we're there to make sure it's safe and people aren't getting burned. But it's very exhilarating because it's like, you're like, okay, well, this is dangerous, but it's controlled and we're making sure it's safe. But it's such a thrill to be connected also to an art form that has been, that has such a long history. And then just to have that experience of working with a material that we mostly see as something that is so rigid and like sharp, and then all of a sudden to be working with it when it's in this liquid form is just like, it's so exhilarating, and it's fun when I get to watch someone experience that because they're sort of like, whoa, like this is crazy, I can't believe I'm doing this.
Yeah, so I started this program called Monster Lab a couple of weeks ago. So this idea of Monster Lab is kids, ages, 6 to 12 can come up with these characters based on loose themes. Then they send them into the studio, and then I've got like 400 right now. So yeah, I make them in glass, and then I'll save them for exhibitions in the future. And it gets kids involved in an art form, because when I went...
That a lot of them wouldn't even know that.
No, and when I went through school, like I went through school in the States, and all my art classes were just drawing. I didn't have a lot of awareness of other mediums outside of, charcoal and butcher paper. So to get kids interested and even just introduced to this wild medium, I find a lot of value in that, and this gets kids involved in that.
It's like this explosion.
There's no rules.
Yeah, there's no rules, and their minds are just going crazy. So it's so inspiring to look at those drawings. So it's been a great program that Ryan's come up with, and we're sort of seeing where it'll end up going in the future.
Thank you guys, this is amazing. Can't wait to see you do it.
Welcome to Bell 35, one of the most contemporary masterpieces in Calgary. It's a West Coast modern home, incredibly spectacular with views of the Elbow River, mountains, the Glenmore Reservoir, sitting on half an acre in the heart of Bel Air. Let's go take a look. This spectacular kitchen is a chef's dream. It consists of 2 beautiful islands. Unique to this is that one is a working chef island and one is a sitting island. It has an incredible range wall that has everything an amazing chef would want. The sophisticated and open concept dining room, living room of this home is absolutely incredible. It boasts a refrigerated wine wall at the end of the dining room. It has a spacious living room. One of my absolute favorite things in this home that adds 550 square feet to the living is the outdoor, covered, screened-in living room. Fireplaces, built-in barbecue, dining, an entire interior living room sectional. Now let's go take a look at the lower level of this home that is really a remarkable entertaining space. We are now in the lower level walkout of this magnificent home, and this walkout boasts many special spaces, mainly a very special wine room that holds over 350 bottles of wine. And one of the most special parts about it is that it looks into this incredible bar that is dropped just below the wine room. From this level, you can walk right out your walkout, big doors, to a covered deck out into your professionally landscaped, manicured gardens. Here we are in the master bedroom. This bedroom suite is perfect for privacy, but it would not be complete in any way without the luxury ensuite that this home has. It is your own private spa retreat, and just off the fabulous ensuite is a bespoke dressing room that would make any woman or man fall in love with this home. I'm Alison Grafton, founder and president of Rockwood Custom Homes, and I'd like to thank my Rockwood team for creating this project and bringing it to life. And I'd like to thank all the viewers for taking the time to walk through this beautiful home with us today.
After seeing all these great cars and garages, it's time to put the engines away and roll to the finish line.
On this episode of The Fast and the Curious, Joseph, tell us, we're here at the Skyline Luge. What am I going to do today?
Awesome. So you're going to go down on the Skyline Luge itself. So that's just an adrenaline-fueled fun ride that goes all the way down this hill right here. Track's 1.8 kilometers. So we're going to take you guys up the chairlift, get you instructed at the top, and then we're going to send you down.
So where does the whole luge, what exactly is the terminology behind luge? I always envision winter sports.
Yeah, so this is different from the Olympic luging. This actually comes from New Zealand. It's over 30 years old.
Just kind of like a race car down the hill, eh?
Yeah, pretty similar, most definitely.
Similar. And you said because I've done the Segway, I should be able to, it's just a matter of handlebar kind of movement. How does that work?
Yeah, so we'll have our staff up at the top teach you how it works. It's really simple. You just pull back if you want to slow down or stop.
Okay.
And then it's just turning those handlebars left or right on the track.
Okay. Who can come to the luge? Like age-wise, is there restrictions? Is you know, like carnival rides?
Okay.
Is there restrictions?
Yeah, so the restriction that we have is just it has to be over 110 centimeters to ride. And if you're below that, you can actually ride with a parent. It's called going tandem. You'll just go in one cart together with the parent in charge of the cart.
All right, so Joseph, tell me, Skyline Luge, where else can we experience this?
So there's lots of different locations all across the world. There's another location in Canada, it's at Mount Tremblant. There's a location in Singapore, Korea, and of course in New Zealand itself, where it all started.
Very cool. So this is original from New Zealand, but how did you guys get this set up here in Calgary?
So the Skyline Luge found its way to Calgary because we thought it would be a perfect site for the luge itself, using the great ski hill that is normally covered in snow in the winter. During the summer, now that it's all melted, our track's available and everyone's ready to go down.
Awesome. All right, well, let's get to it.
Now that the kids are grown and embarking out into the world, I can finally get rid of all their junk and park in my garage. Homes and Lifestyles Canada is an independent production made possible with the support of Kahane Law, A&A Interiors, Canada Mortgage Direct, APHIS, Canyon Plumbing and Heating, and EXP Realty. Wardrobe provided by the Bellissima and Nygaard. Hair and makeup by Swizzle Stick Salon Spa. Be sure to stay connected with us for behind the scenes and amazing giveaways at homesandlifestyles.ca and visit us online, Facebook, and Instagram.